Hello, YouTube. So tonight I'm going to talk about the pet peeves of a pipe smoker, my 5 top pet peeves. Before I do though, I do want to show you a new purchase I made, which is an accessory to pipe smoking. It's an unusual accessory, but one thing I've always wanted to do is to sit in a rocking chair and smoke a pipe. I like rocking chairs, I like pipes. I've never been able to combine them and mix them together. So I decided to solve that problem by buying a collapsible lawn chair that is also a rocking chair. That way, when I go on a vacation or a road trip, no matter where I go, I'm guaranteed to have the ability to rock. I bought this on Amazon, it cost about 60, 70 bucks, and it's awesome. I've used it inside, but haven't taken it outdoors yet. So I'll give it a little spin here. Pretty high quality. Part of it's wood, part of it's steel. The whole thing weighs about 2 pounds. I actually bought 2 of them, 2 different kinds, and really excited to give that a shot. All right, so on to my pet peeves. I got 5 of them. Let's start at the top of the list here. Number 1 is losing tobacco. And by losing tobacco, I don't mean in your house, but if you like to go outside to a restaurant or bar or cafe, you usually have to pack your bag, pack some tobacco, pack your pipes, and occasionally, not all the time, but occasionally you'll get back and realize you're missing something. You're missing a jar, you're missing a baggie, you're missing an ounce of tobacco here and there once in a while. And over the last year, I've probably only done it a few times, but it's usually the tobacco that I love the most. And inevitably, you're going to lose it somewhere, especially if you smoke outside the house more than you do inside the house. Equally troubling, and this is also a tie for number 1, is losing tobacco, like say in a baggie, and then finding it like 2 months later, and it's all dried out. Despite what those say, plastic bag, or the seal on a plastic bag is definitely not airtight. I found that out since I got into pipe smoking. All right, number 2 is overbuying tobacco. Getting really excited about a type of tobacco or a blend, or maybe even a particular brand, and after 1 or 2 smokes, you log on, get online, pipes and cigars, and you just order like crazy. And then you realize you overbought, and then you have tons of tobacco a year later. I did that a couple different times. I talked a little bit about this in my last video, but the one that I've had for over a year now is Bulk and Supreme. I bought a lot of it. I think this jar has been sitting around for a year. I'm probably going to have this jar a year from now. And, I only have so many jars, so this is valuable real estate, but I just can't get myself to throw it out. So this is going to be an heirloom. Maybe I'll pass this down for generations. All right, number 3, pet peeve. Forgetting to bring like a newspaper when you're smoking outside the house. So one thing I love to do is to read the Wall Street Journal at some of my favorite cafes. And sometimes I'll think I'll have packed it in my bag when I get there, and there are always 2 things I do together. And when one of them's missing, it can kind of put a damper on your afternoon or your smoking experience. And many a time I've reached in the bag and thought, crap, I forgot it at home. Similarly, if you go to a cafe or something and the Wi-Fi's down and you're always used to surfing and smoking and you can't surf, it kind of takes away from the experience. So it only really applies when you're used to doing 2 things or doing something else while you're smoking. Number 4 is finding a pipe that you didn't smoke all the way through and you also didn't clean. You come across a pipe, you realize you haven't smoked it for a month, you pick it up, you're like, I'm going to smoke this pipe today, and you realize there's still a half a bowl in there. So you got 2 options. You could give it a shot and try to smoke the rest of the bowl. It's usually a bad idea, especially after a month. A couple days maybe, but a month's a little bit long. And you promise yourself you're never going to do that again. Inevitably, you'll probably do it again, especially if you have a lot of pipes and if you smoke every day. And number 5, pet peeve, is blowing ashes on yourself. So when I smoke, I usually like to put a pipe cleaner in there about halfway through a bowl just to get the moisture out. But occasionally, I don't like to do that all the time because it does use a lot of pipe cleaners. So I'll give it like a very slight half a blow inside to kind of get the moisture down, push it back into the bottom of the bowl. But if you haven't tamped in the last 2 minutes or so, you're going to have some loose ash on there. And I can recount dozens of times where I just blew a huge, blew a huge plume of ash all over me. And again, I promised myself I'm never going to do that. Inevitably, I do it again. So those are my 5 pet peeves. I did want to talk about 3 tobaccos real quick. So tonight I am smoking one of my favorites, smoking Sunday Picnic. And fortunately, it is as good as I remembered it a couple months ago. Thank God, because I bought a big tin. There's something about the Izmir Turkish tobacco that I really like. So this is definitely a good purchase, and I'm going to stick with it for a while. I've also recently gotten back into Irish Flake, and like I said in a previous video, I thought that this wouldn't knock me over with nicotine like it did last year, since I've been smoking for a while now. And it's true. I had 2 bowls just the other night. Didn't get lightheaded, didn't get a nicotine high, and it was really good. So what used to be strong is now mild or medium for me. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. And the last one is Boswell's Premium Burley. I talked a little bit about the aromatics that I'm no longer going to smoke, but this one was one I ordered and gave it a shot. And it does have a little bit of topping on it. It is a little bit sweet, but this one definitely benefits from doing a charring light and letting it set for a couple hours to both dry out and just settle in. When this one's dried out a little bit in the bowl, not outside the bowl, I think it really has something going for it. I probably wouldn't order it again, but yeah, I think it's a pretty decent burley if you're not looking for something too strong. All right, that's all I have for now. So I'll see you next time.